Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Shin Kim, teaching the United States history. Through the first class dealing with native Indian, second class I explain about colonial period, especially by the Spain and the French. And through the third class, actually English colonization. Today I'm gonna dealing with independence, some kind of a birthday, new nation. Okay, new nation was born. USA was born as a new nation. That's actually today's topic. Uh, Through the previous class, England dominated in the eastern area. So Pacific Ocean, from the Maine to the maybe South Carolina, the coast area, 13 colonies, okay, 13 colonies by Britain. So in that actually 13 colonies, suddenly actually Britain government start actually collecting some tax from the colonists. So that's the actually starting point of independence. So during the middle of the 18th century, the Britain and the French fought a war for a control of the North America. I already explained through the third class that called the French and Indian War. Okay, French, Britain and the French, they have a big war in North America, and finally Britain actually they won the war. But usually you know that the war cost a lot of money. It cost a lot of people's life. Okay, it takes. Okay, many people died, and usually weapon cost a lot of money. And because of several kinds of reason, Britain government placed tax on colonists. So because they wanted to pay the debt and cost, as I said, it is extremely huge money. Even there is a war between the Ukraine and the Russia now. It costs a lot of money. The nation going to be bankrupt. Okay, bankrupt. Maybe several years government money already has been spent. So maybe after war, without any money, actually it is extremely hard to revive the economics. That's why. So as soon as finish the war against France, actually Britain government a lot of debt. That's why they try to collecting a lot of many taxes from the colonists in 13 colonies. So one of the example is Sugar Act, Stamp Act, Tea Act, Townshend Act, etc. So many. Suddenly, previously, colonists who live in 13 colony, actually they didn't pay any single penny to the government because there was a law like the no taxation without representation. Even though there was 13 colonies in North America, actually colonists who live in North America, they don't have any right to vote. Okay, they didn't have any representative to send to Britain in order to deliver their opinion. So they have no vote. Okay, they didn't choose any official government official and send to the Britain. So they don't have any representative. So no taxation without representation. So that's why. So that is actually one of the England law. So the Britain government didn't have any right to collecting any tax, but suddenly Britain government changed her mind and start stealing money from the pocket of the colonists who live in North America. That's why they got angry. Okay, the colonists who live in North America, they got mad. Hey, we never vote. We never send any government official to the Britain. Why should we pay the money? Why should we pay the tax? They got angry. That's the actually starting point. The colonists who were not consulted by the Britain. Just the Britain government forced the colonists to pay tax. So colonists felt this violated their right as English citizens. So yeah, because of a tax issue, finally the revolution were broke up, and protest over tax led to riot. Many colonists they rebel against the Britain government, especially tax law. So they made a riot. Okay, they rebel against the Britain government. And finally, there was Boston Massacre in 1770. And look at the picture, painting. And the right side, the little bit captain who wearing red clothing, he is Britain. Okay, the Britain actually aim their gun at the people, so they shooting it in order to suppress the riot. And 5 people dead, and around 10 actually injured. And that is actually the starting points of the suppression by the Britain government. So one of the main figure called Paul Revere, actually he led more protest. No tax, no representative, no tax, no representative, no tax. We don't want to pay tax because we never vote, we never choose our representative. So that's why. So there is some struggle, some actually tension between the colonists and the Britain government. This is the cause of revolution. And finally, many of you, when you study about the world history, you may heard of this famous accident called the Boston Tea Party. Boston Tea Party. So the Britain actually bring a lot of tea to the North America, and but unfortunately, one example, one box of tea is $10. But suddenly it increased to $20 because $10 is tax. Tea, they called tea tax, okay? Britain government gathering a lot of money from the colonists. It have, so the civilian who live in Boston, many people who live in Boston, they got mad, and they go up to the ship and they threw out the tea through the ocean. Okay, that's called the Boston Tea Party. That happened 1776. So protest over the tax on tea, especially, and the Sons of Liberty led by Sam Adams. There are a lot of actually businessmen. They lived in Boston, and now we're facing with inflation. Okay, inflation. That means previously we only pay $10, but now suddenly we pay $15, $5 increase, and the economic become extremely hard, and usually regular people has a difficult time. And maybe if you receive some money from your parents, they cannot support you anymore because inflation. So that means the Boston Tea Party, previously they pay only $10, but now they start pay $20. So everything going to more expensive, including more tax. That's why. So some Boston people actually they ride on the ship, and they threw out 90,000 pounds of tea dumped into the Boston harbor. Look at the painting. What a surprising thing is that even Anglo-Saxon, they are white, but they make up as an Indian. Okay, they took off of the Western clothing, and they pretend to be like native Indians. Look at the picture. Okay, one of the reasons why that Okay, we didn't do that. Native Indian, they did it. So in order to avoid some punishment from the Britain government, actually Boston people, they make up as native Indians. What a little bit sad actually story it is, okay? So they blame the native Indian. Even this is war between the Britain government and also white Saxon colonists who live in North America. But even when they face with some struggle and debate and some tension, some war, actually they through their right, their actually responsibility to the native Indians. That's why they wearing native Indian customs. And this brought a lot of actually shock to the Britain government. Finally, Britain Parliament punished Boston. Okay, that called Intolerable Act in 1774 because the Boston people, they threw out some kinds of Britain good, okay, Britain things to the ocean. It cost a lot of money also. So the Britain Parliament closed the Boston Harbor. That means cutting off trade between the colonies and all part of the world. That means there is no more trade, okay, no more circulation of the money, no more circulation of the good, okay? So that means it seems like they close all the harbors. So trade, there is no more economic circulation, no more trade. So that means it forced actually Boston businessmen to surrender to the Britain government. So also the Britain Parliament outlawed all political meeting. They prohibit any meeting, okay, any meeting, no more meeting, because the people wanted to talking about this issue, but the Britain government sent a lot of army, policemen. They watch over the people who live in Boston area. So Britain troops would not to be tried in the colony. That means even though the Britain army, they did a bad thing to the colonists, steal the money, rape the woman, and sometimes beating the civilian. There is no punishment to the Britain army, Britain troops. Even there was a serious law calling quartering of the troops. That means any Britain army can invade the house of the people, they can live there. So look at the painting. Suddenly, without any notice, suddenly the Britain armies, they entered the house of some specific house, and okay, from today, we wanna dwell in here, we're gonna live here. So look at the face of the people. They are scared, okay, they are scared. Just imagine that. So suddenly the policeman or army come into my house. Okay, from today I want to live here. So maybe they stealing their liberty, their personal property. So it is actually harsh law against colonists. Okay, that means Britain Parliament, they punished Boston and the colonists severely. And now the colonists who live in 13 Britain colonies, they thinking about their liberty. They thinking about their freedom. Also, they are thinking about their future. Okay, what should we do? The Britain government severely, harshly treated us. We should pay all of tax. And even the Britain army come into my house. What should we do? So there is an uncertain future, because during that time, unfortunately, even many people live in North America, but they don't have any political organization who represents colonists. So, but because of the severe persecution by the Britain government. Now colonists thinking about their future, including there are 13 colonies. New England. New England has 6 states. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, 13 colonies. Actually, they're thinking about their future. Join or die. Maybe, yeah, we will be discriminated. We will be persecuted by the Britain. So that's why 13 colonies choose their representative and the colonies began to unite. First Continental Congress held in 1774. So they actually declare of right. Also boycott of Britain good, okay? Britain's clothing, Britain tea, Britain some kinds of chair, furnitures, what kinds of thing we will not buy. We will not buy Britain good, okay? So finally the Second Continental Congress held in 1776, the representative of 13 colonies finally agreed to go to war. Hey, we should get our freedom. How? We should raise our army and we have a war against the Britain government. That is their conclusion. So colonies formed militas. That means they are building their army. So this is one of the picture. The first Continental Congress happened in 1774. Okay. Maybe we can imagine that. Even there was a strong Britain government, strong Britain army, strong Britain policemen, they watch over them. So they should hide themselves. Secretly, they should have held their independence movement. So they are extremely brave person in spite of their death, actually, situation, actually in the risk of their life. They getting together, they discussing about their future. Finally, they agree. We must get independence from the Britain. So that's actually the conclusion of a First Continental and the Second Continental Congress. And during that way, actually, finally, General Gage. General Gage is actually Britain army official. Okay, Britain army. General Gage heard colonists hide weapon and gunpowder. So colonists, they making their one weapon. Okay, guns and gunpowder and cannons, etc. And as soon as General Gage, Britain army official, he sent several 700 troops to the Concord. Okay, Concord is located in North Carolina, and so there was a first battle in Lexington. 7 actually colonists killed. So before independence movement start, actually Lexington in Virginia and Concord, North Carolina, there was war between the Britain army and the colonist army. Look at the painting. Yeah, this is Lexington, okay? Lexington War. So a little bit far away, there is the army who red uniform. They are actually Britain army, okay? The guys who wearing a little bit dark, they are actually colonist army. Actually, they have a war. They shooting each other. And 4,000 Minutemen chased Britain back to the Boston. So suddenly, so many colonists, they got mad and they getting together. So 4,000 army of the colonists, they composed their army and they chased Britain. And finally, 700 troops run away. They back to the Boston. And during their war, Britain actually 74 dead, 200 wounded were captured. Colonists 49 dead, 41 wounded. So there is always, when there is war, it actually cost a lot of people's life and cost a lot of money, as I said, okay? They need their uniform, they need their guns, their weapons, and they need their food, and they need their tent. So it costs a lot of money, as I said. So the Revolution War actually lasted around 10 years. And already starting point, there is a start of the war between the Britain government and the colonist army. And especially, maybe you may heard of the name of John Locke, and he is British doctor and philosopher. Actually, he originator of the social contract theory. What is social contract theory? There is some kind of a deal between the government and people. And the government usually measuring police and law and solve some dispute and tax problem. So always the government has the authority of collecting tax, okay? And they made a war. But people has a more important role in nation. So people has the right of property, personal property, liberty, and health and life. Also, the people has a right to vote, okay? They can replace governor. They can replace president. Also, they have a liberty of protection and justice. So, always there is balance between the government and the people, okay? For the people, by the people, to the people, okay? This is one of the great actually contract between the government and the social contract. Previously in Europe, there is a monarchy. There is called emperor, kings. They rule over the people. King is the law. King can do anything by himself. But suddenly, some kind of philosophy done by the John Locke, social contract. No. Even governments, they should deal with, have a contract with the people. And the people can control the government. This is some kind of republican and democracy actually law. Okay? This is extremely important. John Locke's philosophy, social contract, theory of social contract, influence on the birth of United States of America. So natural law and the natural right, all human being actually has was born actually with some kinds of human rights. Okay, so John Locke provided the foundation of the idea in the Declaration of the Independence. Even when some representative, 13 colony representative, when they made a Declaration of the Independence, actually they followed some idea from the John Locke. And you may understand, okay, you may understand basis on the theory of social contract. Finally, 13 colony representative, they made a Declaration of Independence. If you have any available time, try to read this one. This is only one page, okay? United States of America in General Congress assembled in 1776. Okay, Declaration of Independence. It was written by Committee of Five: John Adams, Franklin, Sherman, Livingston, and Jefferson. Maybe you may heard of these five guys' names. They are extremely famous. And it is signed on July 1st in 1776. So that is actually birthday of United States of America. They declared of independence. We no longer belong to the Britain. USA is an independent country from England. So usually there are several actually parts. Number one is gain international support. Usually, yeah, when there was war, individual nation, individual organization cannot win the war without the support of international. So they actually wanted to gain some international support, money, troop, weapon. Yeah, just now the Ukraine gained some international support, especially from the USA and some Europe country. Okay, they support a lot of weapon, they support a lot of money, they support a lot of food. Okay, without actually gaining international support, it is impossible to gain independence, gain also win the war. So these guys, 5 guys, they recognize we need international support. Finally, some European countries, including France and Spain, they support a lot. Okay. Number 2, gain popular support in the colonies. Even not all the people, not all colonists support independence. Some people, many people actually coming from the Britain, they are Anglo-Saxon, they are extremely loyal to Britain. We are the people of British, not USA. Especially the high officials and some naval groups and some pastors, they supporting Britain. Okay, they never want independent. So Declaration of Independence, the purpose is that gaining popular support. We need your support. Colonists, you must support us. So they actually need the people's support. Number 3, set up the democratic government. Yeah, we already look at the social contract, okay, by the people, for the people, to the people. And number 4, propaganda. That also may be related to number 2, encouraging enlistment and support. We need your support. Number 5, finally declare independence. So as you see, this is only 1 page, okay? If you have any interesting about the Declaration of Independence, try to read it. Maybe you Googling it and you can read it in 10 minutes, okay? And Declaration of Independence created a framework for the democratic government. Yeah, this is monument, okay, monument of the democratic government. There was no democratic government previously. Every government in Europe, they are monarchy, king-centered, emperor-centered, naval-centered. There was no democratic government in Europe. USA is the first actually country in the world, democratic government. So introduction, identify reason for the independence. Why should we have independence? Because Britain government, they treated other as a colonies, okay? Number 2, explanation of a political ideology, democratic ideology, not monarchy, okay? Monarchical system. From the monarchical ideology to the democratic ideology. Number 3, list of injuries and usurpation of the king, list of grievance and complaint. Even Britain government, without any notice, they invade my house and they stealing our food, our property. Okay, even we should pay a lot of tax. They have a lot of complaint. They have a lot of complaint against the Britain king. Number 4, Declaration of Independence. So articulated American political culture in a concise manner. Declaration of Independence actually made the first step toward democratic American political culture. Also, it inspired a revolution in other nations in Europe. Little bit later, because of Declaration of Independence spread this spirituality, democratic spirituality, social contract spirituality, spread out all the Europe. Finally, they were broke up. The French Revolution broke up in 1789. So only around 13 years later, the same spirituality actually happened in France, and finally a French Revolution happened in France because of the Declaration of the Independence. And especially Thomas Jefferson, he is the signer of a Declaration of Independence. He also major role writing Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson was appointed to draft statement of the independence. And a little bit later, he became the third president of the United States of America, Thomas Jefferson. You heard about his name. Goal is freedom, liberty, equality, protection of individual rights. Still in United States, freedom, liberty, equality, protection of individual rights is extremely important. Still in many nations, people cannot criticize the government. As soon as they criticize their president and government, they going to be arrested. Okay, they have no freedom of speech. Whatever they talk, actually it is accepted in the United States. Okay, so that's why we still live in United States. Whatever we say, policemen never arrest us. We have freedom. Also in this country, we can choose our religion. Okay, the government never force us to any religion. During that time, every nation, also in Europe, the government force people follow their religion. Okay, the individual, they have no freedom to choose their church. But that's why this is extremely important. The king did not look after interest of the colonists. You have no interest on us. So that's why we wanted to establish our own government. We needed these kinds of things. So during the time of Declaration of Independence, actually, looks like the capital city of 13 colonies is Philadelphia. Okay, Philadelphia. There was Independence Hall. The left picture is Independence Hall. Okay, it is a small building, and the lighting is Liberty Bell. It is correct, but it is extremely famous. Okay, this is the symbol of independence. So whenever you have any get chance, try to visit Philadelphia, to go to the Independence Hall and try to look at the Liberty Bell. Maybe you are going to be disappointed because of a small size of Independence Hall and the Independent Bell. It is extremely small size. Okay. But just imagine that at the time, Britain government control over 13 colonies. That's why they cannot have a big meeting. Okay, big meeting. They have a secret meeting because the Britain policemen watch over them. That's why. So, message of liberty: proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto the all inhabitants thereof. So, when I actually live in New Jersey, I visit here several times. Especially this is a good tourist place for the students. Okay, so 50 state schools actually they wanted to have a trip to Philadelphia in order to see the Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell. It is free. Okay. There is no admission fee. Even you don't need to pay even $1 to visit there. It is open to everybody. I bring my kids several times to here, learn from independence movement and has the spirituality of liberty and freedom. And the democratic principle in Declaration of Independence. Look at the picture. President, maybe politician, he stand other side and people support them. But as soon as the people left other side, president or the official going to fall from the cliff. This is a democratic principle. Number one, all men are created equal. All men are equal. All men has one right to vote. Okay, but unfortunately during that time, women and black African Americans, Native Indians, actually they don't have any right to vote, okay? They are, unfortunately, they are not included. All men means Anglo-Saxon male, unfortunately. Number two, they are endowed by their creator with a certain inalienable right, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Number three, governments are instituted among men, driving their just power from the consent of the governed. The picture actually explain about number three role, okay? So only people support the government. Without the support of the people, government, president, governors, they cannot stand, okay? Number four, whenever any government becomes destructive of the end, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. So whenever president or governor make a big mistake, the people actually they expelled, okay? They expelled, abolished the governor. That's the people's actually right. So that's why there is a social contract, okay? There is a social contract. There is a deal. The governor, you must work for the people, okay? Not for you, not for your family, not for the high class. You must work for the all people. As soon as you discriminate the people according to their social class or other things, we're gonna abolish, we're gonna rebel you, okay? So finally, this start. Okay, there is a war already. American Revolution, almost 7 years war. 13 colonies rebel against Britain. Revolutionary war lasted for almost 9 years. There is a big battle like the Battle of Saratoga, Battle of Valley Forge, Battle of Yorktown. So Britain Parliament sent a lot of army, Britain army come here, and the 13 colonies, they getting the people make their own army, okay? So United States of America finally free from England, and USA was formed, USA was born, okay? First modern republic, first war for liberty and freedom. So it was actually flag, national flag when USA was born. It is a little bit actually different from the modern flag, as you know, notice. How many stars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Only 13 stars because only 13 states belong to USA when they getting the independence. That's why 13 stars. Okay, remember 13 stars. This is a national flag of first actually United States of America. During the Revolution War, George Washington, okay, he was born 1732, died 1799, okay, and he actually lead the Revolutionary War. He is a commander of a Continental Army, okay. He is a big warrior. He is a big general soldier, okay. Continental Congress selected George Washington as the commander. He is a world commander, and he is also one of the wealthiest men in United States at the time. And after finally they won. The colonists won the war and they got freedom, and George Washington became the first and second president of the United States, okay? So he became the president in 1789, and he ended his presidency in 1797. 8 years in presidency. And following his name, previously, actually, the Philadelphia played a role as a capital city of 13 colonies. But as soon as a new nation was born, and they start establishing new capital city called Washington, D.C., okay? Washington, D.C., based on the name of George Washington. Okay, George Washington, D.C. become capital city of a national government, the federal government in 1800. And Washington, D.C. Washington actually coming from the name of George Washington. D.C. means District of Columbia. Okay, District of Columbia. Look at the map. Okay, the Washington, D.C. is located between the Maryland and the Virginia. And this actually territory called District of Columbia. So Washington is the capital city, but this is located District of Columbia. That's why DC, Washington DC. Okay. This is new city, new capital city, and federal government established big buildings, including 3 branches. The first building, look at the picture. First building is White House. President Biden, Joe Biden, actually he living here. Okay, White House, presidency. Second building is Capitol. Okay, Capitol or Parliament. Okay, the governors getting together here. They decide the law of the United States of America. Third one is Supreme Court. Okay, these 3 branches located in Washington D.C. because this is the capital city. I have visited Washington D.C. maybe more than 10 times. Yeah, I take a picture before the White House, even go to but I cannot enter. I cannot enter White House. But Capitol, I actually have an opportunity to go into there. Also, there are a lot of museums, Smithsonian, several, maybe more than 20 museums located in Washington, D.C. Maybe you can see the Abraham Lincoln Monument. So many actually tourist place in Washington, D.C. If you have any available time, I strongly recommend to visit Washington, D.C. This is open to you, and you can see a lot of things. You can be a good tourist place in one of the good tourist place in the United States of America. And the American Revolution War, inflicted a deeper wound on the Church of England because King of England was the head of the church. Yeah, as I said, not all the people, not all colonists support independence, because especially the Church of England denomination. Actually, the head of the church is king, okay? King of England. They support Britain government. They never wanted independence. So some colonists support independence, some colonists support Britain government. One of the representative is Church of England. They support Britain government. The book of common player offer the player for the monarchy, beseeching God to be his defender and keeper, giving him victory over all his enemies. Him is actually Britain king, okay? They support. And Quakers and Anabaptists, several Christian denominations, they are traditionally pacifist. That means they never join in army. Killing person is murder, so they never joining army. So during the American War, Church of England, Quakers, Anabaptists, they were also persecuted by many colonists. They patriot, okay, they love their nation, USA, but it seems like they betray USA. They never want the birth of United States of America. That's why they need a little discrimination when in American Revolution War. But finally, revolution was successful, and France and Spain king provide money, troops, weapon. Especially France, they are long enemy against England. England and France. They hate each other for a long time. They invade each other. So many wars between these two countries. So, in support, against England, French especially, they support Revolution War. And as soon as the USA has independence from England, they celebrate. French celebrate, and they made a Statue of Liberty, and they sent it United States of America. So when you go visit New York City, try to visit here. This is one of the famous statues, Statue of Liberty. Okay, this is not made by USA government. This is made by France. France wanted to celebrate. So the British citizens protest the cost of money. So as I said, they suffer after losing the war. American enlistment increased. So now they starting establish United States of America. It was born 1776. USA is a baby country. Okay, it only 200, almost 50 years old nation. Very, very young, baby country. Colonist sentiment favored in independence. So today I'm dealing with the independence movements, and finally around 250 years ago, USA was born based on liberty and freedom, and also individual property protection, and also based on the democratic spirituality. This is the first nation who allow every freedom. Now you are free. You can do anything. And you may choose your president by voting. This is the first actually democratic country in the world. Okay, thank you to listen to my lecture, and see you next week. Thank you.